Hi everybody and welcome to this video. It's a video based on the Unit 1 Literature GCSE exam, and I just want to go over something about ideas and themes. Over the last couple of weeks I've been looking at work from students that is incredibly impressive when it comes to language analysis and analysing characters in texts such as An Inspector Calls, Of Mice and Men, Lord of the Flies, The Crucible, but all of this work is missing something really important. And what it's missing is the knowledge that these characters are not real. And I always find this as something that people tend to avoid. I think people get caught up in the idea of the characters, but the fact is that to hit the highest marks in literature, you've got to be able to write about the writer's ideas and themes. Now, what that means is that you're going to explicitly reference the name of the writer, Priestley, Golding, Steinbeck, whatever it is, and you're going to explain their thoughts and their ideas and the message that they're trying to get across through whatever it is you're analysing. So you can take a character, let's take an easy one. In Of Mice and Men, you can take the character of Curly's wife. And you can analyse the character of Curly's wife in this incredible detail, and you can talk about her lips being red and red as a symbol. You can talk about the ostrich feather shoes, and ostriches are birds which can't fly, and she's like a bird that can't fly. But unless you pull it back to Steinbeck and say that Steinbeck is using the character of Curly's wife to explore the themes of the futility of the American dream, of fate, of loneliness, etc., etc., then you're missing a crucial step in your answer. So what I want to suggest to you today is that whatever your Unit 1 questions end up being about, don't just write about the character or the setting or whatever the question's on, bring it back to the writer's ideas and themes. Now, it gets a little bit tricky because in the AQA GCSE English Literature Unit 1 exam, Section A is not assessed on context, and Section B is assessed on context. Now, Section B, for the vast majority of us, is Of Mice and Men, so that is assessed on context, so you can write about 1930s America. But for Section A, there is a sort of a challenge in how do you write about the writer's ideas and themes, but not write about context. And separating the two is possible, but it is a challenge. So if you think of Arthur Miller with The Crucible, the whole thing is about freedom of speech and the kind of paranoia, mass hysteria, all that kind of thing that went on at the time with communism and McCarthyism and that sort of thing. But you wouldn't write about that time and that sort of context and what was happening in Miller's own life. You would just write that his ideas and themes are to explore the effects of mass hysteria or paranoia or freedom of speech. You wouldn't then explain why and link it to what was happening in his own life. Similarly, with An Inspector Calls, and I know a lot of you are doing An Inspector Calls, there are ideas and themes that you can write about. So Priestley, of course, was really into socialism and was criticising capitalism, but you can mention that as a theme. You don't have to go into the sort of contextual information about what was going on at the time politically and why he was interested in that. So you need to know for your texts what are the ideas and themes. And I think it gets harder with the short stories. I think, the short stories, some of them, it's very difficult to pick out the ideas and themes. Sometimes there's a more general theme. So in The Darkness Out There, I would say that the theme is the loss of innocence and growing up, from a child to an adult, which is also what When the Wasps Drowned is about as a theme. But you need to know for your literature texts, what are the themes and ideas and messages? In other words, why did the writer write the book? John Steinbeck wasn't just sat there one day and thought, I'm going to write a book about a black guy with a bad back and a man who's got a learning difficulty and flirtatious, lonely woman. He had themes and ideas that he wanted to portray. He wanted to criticize the American dream, this idea that anyone can achieve anything if they work hard enough in America, and prove that it wasn't true. He wanted to get his ideas about fate across. Steinbeck believed that fate controlled our lives, so much so that he changed the title from Something That Happened to Of Mice and Men when he read the Robert Burns poem To a Mouse, in which fate controls the life of a mouse. So those ideas and themes are what you need to add into your answer. And then I'll just finish on this. Sometimes you might not be able to write about a specific idea and theme, such as the futility of the American dream, or fate, or an attack on McCarthyism, or an argument for socialist ideals. But what you might be able to do is to write about a sort of a general idea or theme that you can see in the extract or the quotation that you're analysing. And because the other thing is, you see, if you've got 4 or 5 paragraphs, you don't want each paragraph to say the same thing about themes and ideas. So I'll just share a little example about an inspector calls. I wrote this last year about the presentation of Berling. So this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Priestley presents Berling as egotistical. So there's my point, and straight away I'm not saying Berling is egotistical, I'm talking about Priestley presenting him as egotistical. Remember, Berling isn't, a real person. He is so pompous that he cannot help but brag about his advantageous connections, bragging that I might find my way into the next honours list. The use of language is highly ironic here. When the definition of the word honour is to have allegiance to moral principles, it's clear that this is not an award Berling is deserving of. Indeed, the honours list supposedly rewards those who are committed to serving and helping Britain, and Priestley is indicating that the whole system is farcical. It is clear here that Berling cares how others view him, but does not care about others. Priestley is criticising this selfish behaviour, reminding the audience that they should respect those with honour, ideals and determination, not those who selfishly and egotistically have made a financial fortune. Now, this last sentence here is a sort of a general theme or idea that you can pull from this quotation, and I'm just presenting it as Priestley's idea and theme. So you'll see in this example, and this is just obviously one paragraph from an answer, but you'll see I write about Priestley. I write about Priestley here and here and here. I've got one quotation which is embedded into my paragraph so that it just flows, that you can read the sentence and the quotation just becomes part of my sentence. I then do a bit of close word analysis, taking one word from that. The GCSE exams really like this single word analysis like this, and then I bring it down to Priestley himself. So that's the way to make sure you're writing about ideas and themes. Make sure you know the ideas and themes of your writer, why he or she wrote the text. And if there's a quotation or an extract that you're writing about and you can't really link it to the specific major theme, then try, like I've done here, just to write about why you think the writer did that. I hope you found this video useful. Please do give it a thumbs up and do check out my ebook study guides at mrbruff.com.